Well, I would say this. When I initially left, they did say they were going to hire 2 people. So that was always the plan. So I'm going to be honest, I don't know what's communicated to anybody. I know Jess was out on maternity leave, and I know that's tough too, coming back. I know she's expressed, having a baby, postpartum, all of those things, take a toll. And Lauren works really hard. And Jess does too, like she's on the road. And I think part of why they hired her was because of that. Like she does comedy shows, she goes on the road. That adds a lot to the show.
Has a strong following. Yeah.
But I think a lot of times it is social media that tends to get people riled up. It's outside forces. It's not what's in the room, and that's what makes tension sometimes build. But what is good is when you can have a blow up and then work through it. And so we just have to see it publicly play out. But I think it looks like they're really working through it. And I feel like this can be an advantage because a lot of people can relate to blow-ups in the workplace, and then how do you move forward from that? Because sometimes the resentment can just build and build and build, and then everything falls apart. But if you can catch it early on, that's a good way to make sure, let's squash this.
So if you knew that they were going to the 2 people or 2 women model, I don't know if it was 2 women, but 2 additional people, how is it that didn't get communicated to Jess Hilarious, or at least it appears that way?
Well, I'm not sure what they communicated, but I know the plan always was, even when I was there, they were like, we should add another person.
Okay.
And so it was always like, okay, we're going to hire 2 people. And I feel like they've said that. So I'm not sure what was said.
They both did. They both kind of mentioned that, this was always a part of the original plan. Somehow it was a shock factor.
Something got lost in the sauce.
There was a breaking down of communication, and then she ended up blaming Charlamagne and of course, DJ Envy for not protecting her in that moment. But then she pointed back to you.
Yeah.
Why did she do that?
She just said I'm not crazy, and I knew that.
but what was she alluding to?
You know what? I saw her one time. We had like a women's event, and we didn't even have a chance. It was all the women at iHeart, so we haven't really had a chance to even break it down. I think she meant it more as a compliment, like Angela is not crazy, because people thought I was crazy for leaving the show. Sometimes people think as the woman, you're the problem. And so when something like this happens, it's like, she's not crazy. Like people, who knows who said that, but
yeah, I thought she was alluding to the fact that maybe you went through something similar behind the scenes and you could relate, and hey, she's not crazy and I'm not either. That's how I took it.
I think all of us took it that way. We were just like, wait, how did Angela get involved in this?
Right.
We love Angela.
I don't know. I haven't even had a chance. We saw each other. We were doing like these little group sessions, and we were like, we'll talk later. And
I'm sure you guys will.
Then I left to go to Memphis.
Yeah, I hope that conversation happens, because I think both women are equally talented in their own, arena.
They bring something different to the table. I think Jess is hilarious, and then Lauren is a journalist. So I think if they can figure out how to balance those things, and sometimes it's also the conversation of, okay, when do I jump in? Because I also think it's important before a break to sit down and be like, okay, this is what we're about to talk about. What's your point of view? What's your point of view?
We do that every day.
We do that every single day.
I don't know that they aren't doing that, but I think maybe that has to be something that's even more ingrained.
But then we're collaborating and not competing.
That's the difference.
And
one of the things that came out of this is just the conversation around, should people in workspaces, particularly 2 Black women coming together, should this have been done on air? Should this have been or on social media? Should this have been a private conversation?
I feel like on the Breakfast Club, they do like things to play out on air. And so that's an argument that can be had, but it's also part of, I think, the allure of the show has always been people feeling like part of it. And so that show's been around for 14 years now, 15 years. And so I think that part of what people like is they feel like we want to see the inside workings of what's happening.
Yeah,
and
breaking that fourth wall.
There's nothing more inside. And then I think also Jess publicly put out her live. And so that is what is the reason why. How do you not address it at all?
That's right.
Because you can't just move on and people are like, what happened? Well, let's let it play out.
Got it. Well, thank you for sounding.
Right now, so there you have it. That was Angela Yee. She used to be at the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy. And then she quit out of nowhere. And the one who replaced her was Jess Hilarious. And when she got pregnant, she had someone to replace her. And that was Lauren. And Lauren, she did such a great job that she won over all the fans at the Breakfast Club that have been supporting the Breakfast Club. And when Jess Hilarious, when she came back, she realized that her position in the company was not the same anymore. And the truth is that Jess Hilarious, she's not a good host at all. And she's not funny. So I don't even understand why. I don't even understand why she's calling herself Jess hilarious, because she's not hilarious. And like I said, the clip of the show, y'all, that was Angela Yee setting the record straight about why she quit, and also the Breakfast Club drama. So let me know what you think about this. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next videos.